For standard number 3, learning environments, I chose to use Prezi to create a presentation. Standard number 3 states, the teacher works with others to create environments that support individual and collaborative learning and that encourage positive social interaction, active engagement in learning, and self-motivation. My examples of meeting and missing the standard this time are all from my observations for my associate's degree. For my first example of missing the standard, I have having an unorganized classroom. During some of my classroom observation hours, I was in a 5th grade classroom with no organization at all. Books were piled everywhere, supplies were falling out of the closet, random items were shoved on shelves in the back of the classroom. The desks were so close together to make room for the piles everywhere that students had a hard time getting around the room. There was no accessibility for students with mobility issues. Instructional time was lost while looking for supplies in the mess, and the students were distracted by the piles. It was really hard for everyone to concentrate in that classroom, including myself. And the second example of missing the standard in the classroom I have are learning activities are not varied. The same teacher with the unorganized classroom did not vary her instruction to include whole group, small group, and individual work to develop a wide range of learning skills. All of her lessons were taught in whole group, and she immediately transitioned to individual work. While students were working individually, they were expected to sit quietly at their desks and were not allowed to visit with their neighbors whatsoever. All questions had to be directed to the teacher, and all visits took place at her desk. Because of this, peer relationships were neglected. I believe that good relationships between students is a sign of a positive classroom environment. By not allowing students to work together in small groups or visit quietly in the classroom when appropriate, they were not allowed to promote each other's learning or show the importance of peer relationships in the classroom. And my examples for meeting the standard in the classroom include a 4th grade teacher that I observed had a daily routine where students came to his classroom, read silently for 10 minutes, and then moved on to the lesson for the day. This gave him time to take attendance and send bulletins to the office in a timely manner, minimize loss of instruction time because he was not distracted, and encouraged his students to read. The second example I have is from the same teacher. He created a welcoming and positive classroom environment by setting expectations collaboratively with his students that included openness and mutual respect. He really cared about his students, their families, and their interests. He took the time to create positive relationships with each of them, and they appreciated the time he took to get to know them. As an observer, I could tell that he enjoyed interacting with his students, and they enjoyed their class time with him as well. And this teacher also met standard number 3 in his classroom by speaking to his students verbally and communicating non-verbally in a way that demonstrated respect. He spoke in a very caring tone, he got down on their level and made eye contact with him. He truly listened to what his students said to him and considered their perspective in home life when planning for his lessons.